Can I help you?
Miss Maple, my name is...
I know who you are.
I haven't received my check in 2 weeks.
I know.
Where is it?
There's a problem.
What kind of problem?
I think you better contact Sims Lord.
There's bills at my house that I can't pay.
I'll give you Mr. Lord's number.
It's her, isn't it?
Who?
Pauline.
Here you are.
Thank you. Miss Maple, do you go up to the house to see him?
Yes.
Would you tell him, please? He would not like this to happen. Jules used to say, if you could visualize yourself as something, you could become it. I can't tell you how much that meant to me when he said it. You see, I always thought that I would be famous. But believe me, it was not this kind of fame. Hello?
This is Cyril Rathbone.
Oh, my God.
I hope I didn't catch you in the middle of something.
What is that supposed to mean?
Just a little joke. I'd like to see you, Flo.
I don't think so.
But you're being credited with saving Jules Mendelssohn's life.
I am?
I would like to do an interview with you, Flo.
I have to hang up now.
You sound desperate, Flo. Are you desperate?
Look, I don't want to talk with you, okay? So don't call me here.
Who your gentleman was? You never told me his name. You just always said, don't come by in the afternoon until after 3:30. Didn't know your gentleman was Mr. Mendelssohn.
Why? Do you know him?
Yeah, my Uncle Willie's his barber. Shaved him every morning for 25 years.
Your uncle?
Mr. Mendelssohn gave Willie the money to start his own shop.
Well, does he still shave him every morning up at Clouds?
Every morning.
I don't think Jules had ever intended to fall in love. I think he thought that after we'd done it for a while, he'd unload me with a nice gift. And I'd be terminated, you know, with grace. And I'd go back to the coffee house. And he'd go back to Pauline. And in a couple of years, he would just have forgotten all about me. But before he knew it, he was in over his head in the water. And he was sinking fast.
Is there a particular chair where you want him to sit?
Just here on the sofa. Is that all right, Jules? so good to see you. I've missed you so much. You have no idea how much.
I've missed you too. You know Olaf?
Yes, he was kind enough to tell me you were coming. But I don't know Mr. Lord.
Please call me Sims. Flo.
I didn't know if you were going to be friendly or not.
Friendly.
That makes me very happy. Well, I have some white wine from the Bresciani auction in the fridge, Jules. Will you have some? Sims, I know it's your favorite.
Well, how did you know that?
Well, Olaf?
Oh, thank you, Flo, but no.
All right, well, I'll just put the souffle in the oven and get the wine and we can sit down and talk.
She is perfectly charming, Jules.
Jules tells me you have a son at Harvard, Sims. How's he doing?
Oh, very well, thank you. Where did you get these candlesticks?
Jules brought me those. They're Chinese, one of the dynasties.
Ming.
Ming.
Oh, you're drinking wine?
Oh, just this once. Welcome home, Jules.
Sims out there. I want you to read that aloud.
Dear Flo, I agree to pay you $20,000 a month for 5 years.
You're an heiress.
I always knew you'd take care of me, Jules.
There's more. This house is yours.
Almost yours. The actor who owns the place is in Yugoslavia and hasn't returned the papers, but everything is agreed to.
Jules. I don't know what to say. Oh my God, the souffle is burning. Well, this isn't what it would have looked like, but...
I think it's all the excitement of coming here.
Okay, call the hospital. Call the hospital.
No, I think we'd better get him home first. She'll have a fit if she finds out he collapsed in this house again.
I don't know if I actually thought of it at the time, but the more I think of it now, Jules started dying right in front of my eyes.
We have to go now, Flo.
I love you. Goodbye, Jules. I knew I would never see him again.
Pauline's dinner was an elegant success, though everyone came to see Jules, not Prince Friedrich.
Oh, Tangier, dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. They had belly dancers serving the first course.
How is the patient tonight?
He's simply furious that Dr. Petrie's keeping him in his room.
His sculpture garden is magnificent. I'd like to peek in and tell him.
Perhaps later.
Camilla was right. I was a snob. There I sat spooning in tulipe creme fraise while a man I considered a murderer was dying upstairs. The only good thing about the evening was Camilla. She didn't enjoy it any more than I did.
I'm sorry you didn't like the yellow diamond earrings, Pauline. Oh, Jules's secretary called to say he was returning them to Boothby's.
When was that?
On the very day of his heart attack. Boothby's called me because they were part of Mother's estate.
I see.
I'm at a loss to understand how there can be a party going on in this house when a man's dying upstairs.
Is Mr. Mendelson worse?
He will not live through the night. The man belongs in a hospital. I want to call Dr. Petrie and have him readmitted. Tell her I must speak to her. Tell her it's urgent.
People like us, seated next to people they never heard of and didn't want to hear of. If you could have seen the look on Reza Bulbekian's face when he saw the hotel that Cyrus put him in.
I'll talk to her after dinner. Tell Gertie the tulips are divine. You may serve coffee.
It's urgent.
There's a call I have to take. Please don't get up.
Such a shame I couldn't accept Jack's invitation.
Serve the coffee at the table, Dudley, rather than inside. They all seem so comfortable.
Shall I call Dr. Petrie?
Oh, I'm sure that won't be necessary.
I could ask the guest to leave, Mrs. Mendelson.
No, please don't. Mr. Mendelson's going to be fine. Just fine.
I quite remember the moment. Anyway, I couldn't go.
Yes, Miss Toomey, is this something that can't wait?
He's very bad, Mrs. Mendelson. I don't think he has long.
I'd like to be alone with my husband.
I'll call Dr.
Not
Petrie.
yet. Not until you hear from me. Can you hear me, Jules? It's Pauline.
Did you ever think you'd hear me say I was scared, Pauline?
No, I didn't.
How's the party going?
I should have canceled it.
No. You tell him that I insisted you should go ahead with it. I'm dying, Pauline. No tears, I see.
I've shed all my tears, Jules.
I remember that night long ago when I first saw you at the Van Tegen's dance. You were everything I ever wanted. Sorry, Pauline. I really am.
Oh, Jules, please, let's not go down memory lane.
Sorry, Flo, he can't talk to you. Mrs. is in there with him. But after we left your house today and drove back to Clouds, he told me to tell you that he was all right.
There's something you should know, Pauline.
No, Jules. There's nothing more I need to know. I know everything about everything, and so does everyone we know.
Kippy killed Hector.
What? No.
Yeah, he needed $10,000 to pay off Arnold Wellman. Since you wouldn't give it to him, he went to Hector. Hector refused him. Kippy had lost his temper and shot him.
How do you know this?
There's a sealed manila envelope in the safe. Hector's note is inside. It names Kippy as his killer.
Oh, Jules. Oh, Jules. I'm so sorry. You did this for me. Oh, Jules. Does anyone know? Jules, does anyone else know what you just told me? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Oh, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. He's gone. My God, why didn't you call me? It was very peaceful. I wasn't even aware when it happened.
I'll call Dr. Petrie.
There's not much the doctor can do now. I don't want anyone to know, Miss Toomey. Do you understand? Not until I get rid of my guests.
Well, surely I can tell Olaf.
No. Don't tell Olaf. I don't want Olaf in this house another minute. I don't want him to see my husband's body. I blame him for my husband's death. Get rid of him. No. A note from Cyril Rathbone.
How's Jules?
Sleeping.
He knows about what happened to Hector Paradiso. You know that, don't you?
We must get back to the party. Poor Friedrich will think we've deserted him.
Pauline, you're doing just what my mother used to do. You're avoiding the truth.
The truth, whatever it is, won't do Hector any good.
I just don't want to see you get hurt.
If there's one thing that Jules taught me, Philip, it's how to take care of myself.
Jules was not a Catholic. He was Jewish, for God's sakes, wasn't he?
Nevertheless, St. Tristan's will bury him quickly and quietly. I want this over with before that horrible woman finds out.
You could always have him cremated.
No cremation. Jules told me no cremation. He wanted to be buried in Westwood.
Well, he's not going to be buried in Westwood. Otherwise, that woman will have photographers take pictures of her throwing herself on his grave. I know the type. Be careful. She so hoped people would say he died in the arms of his mistress.
Pauline, straighten up. He did not die in the arms of his mistress. He died right here in his own house.
He went to see her yesterday. Did you know that, Sims? I firmly believe if he had not gone, he would still be alive.
I came as soon as I heard. I wanted to be here with you. What's the matter, Mom? I'm clean, all right? I'm not on drugs.
Jules told me everything, Kippy.
What do you mean?
About you and Hector. Why? Why? He was my friend.
Well, it's not true. Yes, all right, I was there. But, Mom, there was this hustler there.
Don't con me, Kippy. Jules Mendelsohn would not make up a complicated suicide story for some hustler.
Mom, I did not do it.
Hector left a note.
Mom, that stupid little dog bit my finger.
Kippy, I am not a fool. I saw the note. You killed Hector.
But only you know that, Mom. And you just forgot it.
I am the resurrection and the life, saith the Lord. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. Even so saith the Spirit, for they rest from their labors. Heavenly Father, grant to all who mourn a sure
God, Pauline, I don't believe this.
in thy care,
It's that March woman, look.
casting all their grief.
No, Pauline, sit down.
Don't go
I'll
back
get
there.
her.
Feel the consolation of thy love. Give courage and
How
faith.
dare you come in here? This is a
to our
private
bereaved,
service.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Mendelson.
I want you to leave this church immediately.
that they may have
They told me at the crematory there was a service here. I didn't.
Get out!
to
I just wanted to say a prayer for him.
Someone get this tramp out of here!
My God.
Come on, Miss March. So ashamed. I thought it was going to be a funeral like Hector's. I shouldn't have come.
No, Flo, you shouldn't have.
Listen, I know nobody cares and nobody even believes me, but I really loved him. I really loved him, and he loved me.
Pauline, I must caution you against this. He made arrangements. She has papers signed by Jules and by me.
When were they delivered?
Friday.
The day that he died.
Just pay her. Be done with it. You can afford it.
If she's so broke, tell her to sell the yellow diamond earrings she stole out of my husband's suit pocket on the very day he had his heart attack in her house.
What is that supposed to mean? I never stole anything.
It means there won't be anything for you, Flo.
Why?
The estate feels undue pressure was placed on Jules at a time when he was too ill to realize what he was signing.
Undue pressure by who? By me? Is that what you're saying? You were here.
I'm merely the messenger.
Oh, no,
here.
you're not. You're a participant. Your name is on those documents.
You haven't offered me a glass. I could take care of you. You could stay on in this house.
How did I make the mistake in my mind to think you had class?
I saw you at the funeral. Got a bit concerned.
Oh, boy.
What's going on, Flo?
Well, I'm on what's known in the program as a little slip. It's frightfully good, you know. It's from the Bresciani auction. There's lots more where that came from.
You want to go with me to a meeting? There's one at 3 o'clock.
I can deal with this.
So this is dealing, huh?
Don't blow my low, Phil.
Need money?
What do you think?
What about the house?
Get it.
Didn't he promise the house?
Sure, he promised, but there's wives and lawyers all over the place.
I'll talk to Pauline.
Leave it alone.
Why? I want to help you. Let me help you.
You don't owe me anything.
I was talking about owing anything. I like you, Flo. We got a lot in common.
Yeah, we both sleep with people a hell of a lot richer than we are.
Don't worry about me. It's my own fault. I just thought... I don't know what I thought. I gotta go inside.
That night, something lucky happened. Well, at least I thought so at the time. My mother always said, be happy for the silver lining, but don't look too close. It may just be tin foil.
Flo.
Oh, Lonnie, hi.
Oh, that is such a trip. I was just reading about you in Sarah Rathbone's column. Hey, you're a bona fide celeb.
Not the kind I ever wanted to be.
Hey, I never knew that Jules Mendelson was your,
Yeah, not many people did.
Hey, did you ever meet his son?
You mean his stepson?
Yeah, spoiled kid, Bippy, Dippy, something like that.
Gippy?
Yeah, that's it. A lot of people thought I was the one killed Hector Paradiso. But this kid showed up right as I was leaving.
Are you telling me Gippy killed Hector?
I'm telling you, it sure as hell wasn't suicide.
That's when it all made sense.
This is Kippy. Needs to sack out on your couch for a couple hours.
Jules brought him that night to my house till he could figure out what to do.
He's a little drunk. Sit down there. Get right over here. I don't want his mother to see him drunk. I need to use your phone.
People like that think the rules don't apply to them. Barney and Kippy, and even Jules. Some ways they were a lot alike.
Sandy, it's Jules. I'm sorry to wake you, but I was wondering if...
What happened to your finger?
First, the little dog bit it. Something's come up and I need your help.
Hello, Sims? Yes, it's Flo March here. Yes, I do know what time it is. I want you to set up a meeting for me with Pauline Mendelson. Oh, yes, she will. You tell her it has to do with her son, Kippy.
Mrs. Mendelson, I have papers that Jules signed.
He was coerced by you into signing them. You lured him to your house. I hold you responsible for his death.
I saved his life. The ambulance attendants will tell you that. If you're looking for someone to blame Marnie Zwillman for telling the State Department about the girl who went off the balcony in Chicago. And blame the State Department for telling Jules the Brussels appointment was off.
You know a great deal about Jules, Miss March.
Ignore her, Pauline. This is a woman who was paid handsomely for sexual favors and is looking for a free ride.
You know, that's funny coming from you, Sims, when you were looking for a free ride in my own living room 3 days after Jules died.
Pay no attention, Pauline. Miss March knows nothing.
Miss March knows who killed Hector Paradiso, for one thing. Miss March knows because Mr. Mendelson brought the killer to her house in the early morning of the murder while they went about the business of making the whole thing appear to be a suicide. I'm not asking for much, Mrs. Mendelson, just for what Jules wanted me to have. You can afford it. Think it over.
Pay her off, Sims.
I think that would be a mistake, Pauline. Not only is she a liar, she's delusional, money hungry, and a danger to Jules' memory.
I thought you were in favor of honoring Jules' agreements.
Not anymore.
So when I heard from Sims that nothing was coming from Pauline, I didn't know what to do. I went by the Viceroy, which turned out to be a big mistake.
How you doing?
Okay.
Want your old job back?
No, just a cup of coffee, please.
You got it.
Hello. Oh, I've heard about your financial difficulties.
Please, just leave me alone.
But you hold so many trump cards. Oh, it's a shame to fall apart the way you're doing. I have a plan. Of course, you'll need a lawyer, an agent, and a good writer. Your boss, a poet laureate. That's me.
What are you talking about?
Oh, for your book. Your book that I am going to write in your name. Jules' Mistress, the personal memoirs of Flo March. You know the title already. With any luck, we may even sell it as a movie. Now, all those bills you have piling up in the front hall, now you'll be able to pay them. I want you to tell about you and Jules and Pauline. I want you to tell everything he told you. Everything you overheard. Now, here is a key to a safety deposit box I took out in both our names. Now, you put the finished tapes in there so they'll be safe.
Well, the Viceroy was a popular place. All kinds of people used to go there, like Hector Paradiso has in Paradiso Boulevard on the way to the airport.
So that's when I started these tapes that you've been listening to.
Every morning.
I mean, it seemed wrong to be doing this, but
you like to tell me about all
my back was against the wall. Just don't tell anybody where these tapes are. I mean, you could get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Best of all, Pauline Mendelssohn's
book. He even met with Joel Zircon, the agent, to try to set it up as a feature. Until Joel told Cyril that nobody was buying. Suddenly, overnight, the publisher wouldn't publish and the movie people wouldn't movie.
Somebody got to him.
He's not into...
Oh, come on now, love.
Yeah, you don't know these people like I do.
That's when Cyril got another idea.
Feel well. He's a very caring person. Very caring person. I've known him for so long that I trust him with just about everybody.
Okay. That's good. Now, and you pick.
And I got the courage to do what I've been meaning to do all along.
Is Mrs. Mendelssohn expecting you?
No.
You haven't fought with Camilla again, have you?
No.
That's good. You know, I could spend a lifetime arranging flowers. Mr. Van Gogh's picture always influences me. What most people don't realize is you must remove all the foliage that will be below the water level.
I'm here on behalf of Flo March, Pauline.
Do you know her?
Since Hector's death.
Please contact my lawyer. I have no wish to hear any message from or about her.
I know I'm interfering, Pauline.
I've always liked you, Philip. I've been a good friend to you. But I think you've overstepped the bounds. I'd like you to leave my house and not come back.
She knows things, Pauline.
Please go.
She's writing a book with Cyril Rathbone.
A whore's trick.
He's gotten her an appearance tonight on After Midnight with Amos Swank.
Oh, for God's sake, no one stays up that late.
It's national television, Pauline. Millions of people watch it.
The woman is a liar. Who would believe?
You're wrong. She only wants what Jules promised her, which is far less money than you could get for any piece of jewelry you own.
Goodbye, Philip.
Do you honestly think anyone could sleep with Jules as often as she did and not know at least some of his secrets?
Get out!
Whatever she announces tonight is going to implicate you whether you knew about it or not.
Dudley!
What's wrong with you? You think the world will look at the facts the way you want?
Dudley, please show Mr. Cornell to the door.
This way, sir.
Pauline, please.
I'm sorry our acquaintance has had to end on this note, Philip. But you don't belong here anymore.
I guess I never did.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bert. Thank you. Thank you very much. And welcome to After Midnight. So what's in the news? What do you think about this crude oil shortage? It's hitting all of us. Must be hitting you particularly hard, Bert. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to use now to slick down all that hair?
We got a good show for you tonight. There's a hot young comic, Jerry Falstaff, making his first appearance here tonight. Very funny guy. You're going to love him. And we've got Zelda, the zoo lady.
the woman with the animals. She's got some furry creatures for us. And finally, my Goomba, Don Balaria is back. He'll be here tonight. Yeah.
I love that guy.
And have I got a surprise for you? Flo March. You know, the gal that's writing that book that my sources tell me everyone is afraid to publish. She's going to be here talking to us tonight, telling us all about Jules Mendelson and Pauline Mendelson and Arnie Zwillman. And we'll find out all about that right after this. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Yeah.
Do you think I should kiss Amos on both cheeks when I make my entrance?
How well do you know him?
I've never met him.
I wouldn't kiss him.
That's what I thought. But I saw Roseanne kiss him last night when she went on, so I just thought I'd ask. Miss March? Any time? Oh, God, I'm so nervous. Mr. Lacko would like to see you. Who?
The executive producer.
He's up in the penthouse. If you'll follow me. Do I have time before I go on?
Oh, you must. He runs the show.
Cyril, I thought you were in the audience.
The segment has been cancelled.
What?
Oh, you heard me.
No, I don't believe it. They just did my makeup.
And then they cancelled it. Mr. Latko wants to tell you you're not going on. Do you know what he said to me? He said, Amos don't like guests who write books. Amos likes big stars. Or comedians who tell dirty jokes. Or animal acts.
Somebody made a call. Somebody made a call.
It's all over for you. You have nothing to live for. Jules is gone. You're broke. No one wants to hear your side of things. This way, you'll be all over the papers. People will remember you for years. Listen to your story. Death can be a beautiful experience, Flo. You'll be with Jules forever. Do it. Go on. Jump.
Flo? Yeah, Flo, it was a joke last night. No, I was only kidding. Yeah, you know I didn't mean it. Flo? I came to apologize. What about the tapes? I can't do the book without them. It's your future. It's my career.
Stay away from me, Cyril. Just stay away.
So what could Cyril do but follow his nature? He went to visit Eve in the garden.
Pauline, it's all so beautiful. I've never been here, you know. I long to see inside.
Hello, Mr. Rathbone.
The sculpture, to die for. I'd love to visit your greenhouse, see your famous yellow orchid.
Mr. Rathbone, please. You spoke on the phone about a matter of urgency. Let us deal with that matter and forget about my yellow orchid.
Shall we go inside?
You are not welcome in my house, Mr. Rathbone.
You've never liked me, have you, Pauline?
With very good reason, Mr. Rathbone. You were the one who sent me the photograph of my husband and Miss March fleeing the Paris hotel, were you not?
I thought you should know.
You did it out of kindness, you mean? Your reputation for duplicity clings to you.
There's a book being written about you and your husband.
So I've heard.
Miss March has recorded 28 hours of tapes of the most intimate details. See, for a price, I could turn these tapes over to you.
So that's what this matter of urgency is about.
In those tapes, she talks of Jules's sexual needs and appetites. She talks of a young lady who went off a hotel balcony in Chicago in 1953. She talks about your son and his friendship with a man named Arnie Zwillman. It seems your Kippy one night went to visit Hector Paradiso and found him in the middle of an act of deviant nature with a young man named Lonnie Edge. Lonnie told this to Flo. It's all on the tapes. It seems Kippy offered himself sexually to Hector in exchange for $10,000. And when Hector refused, he produced a gun.
You must always clear away any of the foliage that will be below the water level in the vase. And then, when you cut off the bottom of the stem, make sure always to do it at an angle like this. Do you see? Now, these roses in my garden have particularly thick stems, making it difficult for the water to penetrate. So I always suggest, when I talk to newcomers in the garden club, that they peel away half of the stem, like this. I hope it hurts terribly, Cyril.
A wasp allergy. What a shame. It must have been awful for you, Pauline.
Sims, you were my husband's friend.
Yes.
You knew him better than anyone.
Perhaps.
There are tapes that Miss March recorded. Did you know that?
No.
28 so far. Apparently there are revelations on these tapes, if I'm to believe what Cyril Rathbone told me. Business revelations, personal revelations. Some of them told to her by Jules, some by a man called Lonnie Edge.
What do you suggest we do about it?
Do you know a man named Arnold Zwillman?
Yes.
It seems to me that Mr. Zwillman would know a thing or two about breaking into Miss March's house and stealing those tapes. I mean, isn't that the sort of thing those people do? He's on the tapes, too. I think you should tell him that.
Jules brought him that night to my house till he could figure out what to do. People like that, they think the rules just don't apply to them. Arnie and Kippy, and even Jules. Some ways they're a lot alike. I need your help, Lonnie.
Are you all right?
I need you to stay here tonight. Can you do that?
Yeah, sure.
How soon can you get here?
Oh, listen, I got a customer here right now. What's going on, Flo?
I'm scared, Lonnie. I'm scared to be alone.
The A&E movie.
Things be. I mean, how could you say those things to her?
I was doing it for her own good.
And what about our good? Your self-righteous indignation has now made you persona non grata in this town, and because I happen to be sleeping with you, that includes me.
Do you want me to move out? God knows, I don't want to prevent you from going to one of Pauline's elegant parties.
No, I want you to think about us for a change.
Meaning we're zip if we're not in the social scene,
Meaning
right?
you're doing your damnedest to put this relationship on the rocks. Stop testing me, Philip. I don't know how much more I can love you. You're asking a hell of a lot, and I'm trying to change, but I can't do it as fast as you want me to.
Oh, you're doing a pretty good job so far. Think of it this way. We're moving on to a more colorful crowd. Poorer, louder, but with far better music.
Philip, these are my people. I'm related to some of them. I've known them all since birth. I've been to their weddings. They've been to mine. It's not that easy for me to choose you over them.
Then maybe you shouldn't. Hello. Ah, welcome back.
Oh, well, I can't stay. I'm not drinking, though, for now. Honest. I'll just have to find a meeting in my new hometown.
No.
I'm moving tomorrow morning. I'm starting a whole new life. I can't tell you where I'm going. So, this is for you. Can't open it though till Christmas.
Christmas?
Well, at least for a little while.
I don't know what to say.
Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks.
Goodbye, Philip. You don't have to worry about me anymore.
Oh, I do worry about you. You are the most fragile, tough girl I ever know.
Is that good?
I don't know. I'd like to kiss you goodbye.
You don't think our lives are complicated enough? I'll give you a nice warm AA hug, though.
Hey!
You need a ride? Yeah, I could always use a ride. Get in. What can I do for you? Anything you like.
I'd like you to unlock a door.
What?
Just that. Leave a door open by midnight tonight. And, get rid of a gun.
I don't understand.
You're staying with Flo Marsh now, right?
Yeah?
Well, I just want to pay a little surprise visit on her. She's got something in her house I want.
What about her?
I'm not interested in her.
All right. You ready? City awaits us.
I still got so much to pack, you know?
Come on, Flo. You got plenty of time to pack in the morning. Just get your jacket. Chilly out there.
I don't want to go just yet.
Flo.
I've been through so much in this place. I just want a moment by myself to tell it goodbye.
You can do that tomorrow, too.
Look, I'll meet you there in an hour, okay?
I just don't think you should be alone in this house with it all inside out.
No,
like
it's
this.
okay now. I feel better.
Flo.
Look, I'll meet you there in an hour, all right?
You promise?
Yeah.
Okay, don't be late.
Okay.
What is it that you want? It's the tapes. They're in the the other room.
Please. Please. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women.
It's over.
The next morning, something told me I had to see her again. One last time.
He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live.
Much to my surprise, Camilla paid for Flo's funeral.
Shall never die. Believest thou this?
In the following months, Pauline moved to London, where she married Friedrich and became Princess Pauline von Hesse-Darmstadt. Kippy had an affair with Reza Balbenkian's wife. Lonnie Edge disappeared and was never heard from again. Clouds was sold to a Japanese businessman, and I, long before Christmas, decided to open Flo's gift.
I've got 2 more nights in this house, and then I'm out of here. I've decided to give these tapes to you, Philip. Do whatever you think should be done with them.
So, like any upstanding, law-abiding citizen, I handed them over to the police. When I called the next week to ask about the department's reaction, I was told the tapes had accidentally been erased. What they didn't know was that I had the originals, and I would write my manuscript, and it would be published.
Everything's gonna be different for me now, that's for sure. I'm starting a new life. Everything's gonna be different. Everything's gonna be better. You know, it's funny when you make a decision about changing something in your life. All of a sudden, the past just drops away, and you're floating out on the future. I like that.